Nas' run right now is the definition of playing with house money. Nas already cemented himself as the best rapper of all time, in my opinion. Like, if your legacy can survive a song like Summer on Smash, it's bulletproof at this point. But for real, you were to take Nas' career and split it in half, each half would make up a top 5 career in discography, which is straight up nuts. This run of albums that he's done with Hit-Boy is particularly special, not only because he's doing it like 10 years away from being able to collect Social Security, but being able to show that his pen is still elite after decades in the game and that maturation of his content. I think this string of albums is even bigger for Hit-Boy's career. He's an artist that I thought was good beforehand. I think he's really upped his game with working with Nas. His incorporation of soul and boom bap to his trap sound has led to some of the best beats Nas has rapped on, especially in the second half of his career. These guys have gotten progressively better with each project they released, so this one gotta be sick. Let's get to it. That's an interesting sample. Let's see how you flip it.
I'm feeling a lot of hate since I'm creating with hit.
808 sound great.
They're gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. No way to describe me, no other word other than godly. Black, so I got a black, the magic is black, magic is black. What generation don't listen to Nas, don't listen to rap.
Yo, this flow is pretty sick. I think the reason that trap sounds watered down a lot of times is because I think trap beats sound the best when you give the beat a little bit of space to breathe. Because of that, a lot of rappers use this stop-start flow. But the fact that he's using this almost double time flow, you getting a lot of syllables while he's still able to do that start-stop tight pace that lets the beat breathe a little bit.
Hit-Boy and the drum and the bass. Nobody jump on the stage. R.I.P. trouble with niggas.
I don't like this 808 as much as I like the opening one.
2020 when we did the first one, 5-hour run, not a cursed one, it's a blessed one. By the time y'all hear this, we be halfway through the next one. Bless us. All the rappers we lost are hoping they rest.
KD4 on the way?
Even the great could be on the plate, nobody's safe. Abracadabra, so I'm in half and then reattach them. I'm doing magic, can you escape?
Like
I gotta say what it is, I've been the one taking the risk. Y'all creating the hate, but I be creating with hit. And
yo, these keys that's in the background right now, this would have made a better beat in my opinion. I like this more than the main sample.
They're gonna try me, they on my body, no Illuminati. Killing them easy, God, I'm doing this thing as a hobby.
I say interesting opener. I think it's a pretty good opener, but it had elements that I like, elements I didn't like. Nas came through with a let me show y'all Young Bucks energy. He strayed away from his typical sound and jumped on a straight up trap beat, and he sounded pretty good on it. He got in a couple of different flows, and I liked all of them mixing that stop start and that double time, or maybe not even double time, maybe like 1.5 time. Content was mostly him flexing his status in the game. No crazy standout lines, but I think it was a solid performance overall. The beat, I didn't think it was bad, but I ain't like it. Them thumping 808 sounded good, but I think that main sample with the electronic keys, it sounded like they pulled a sample from a low-budget Super Nintendo game. I do like the fact that it was a dynamic beat and it had a lot of modulations. I do like when those more watery keys came in, but overall, I thought the beat was iffy compared to the rapping. This is Office Hours.
Hip-hop's back, Esco, they know over 808, some fatal over samples. I go yayo, crack music like the Ye song plugged in, jump on cables.
Crack music like the Ye song is fire, referencing that Ye song off of Late Registration.
Godfather, they on payroll, they on go.
Like
when I say so, not to kill. Not a halo, they gon' build. Plant tomatoes in the field. Not a Jado, white truck negotiator on the phone. Talking paper, office hours all day though. Necklace shit. After the 80s, after I kill, I resurrected it. Chest is lit, freezing, I'm polar vortexing it. Now they
dog, when you do a Nas there, your brags just come off different. He's speaking facts too.
A lot of feelings in this game, like I just left the dentist without a number needle. I feed the people cause I love the people. 2 series at once, yeah, let's run the sequel. If I really gotta dumb it down for some of y'all, that's that Magic and KD at the same time.
Look, he did it, so I ain't even gotta break it down.
They'll be second line dancing on St. Charles Street. New Orleans band was jamming, playing a raw beat. They gon' miss him sad, they say they stopped his heartbeat. Like his arteries clogged for feasting on some hard meat.
In the zone, victim, stick him.
Well, hey, his wordplay been slick. I like that first verse a little bit more than the second verse, but he was still talking.
Look at headshot, drill shit up the pole. Pill shit 40 Glock, kill switch run, bitches still hit. Rat back him, jump him, gun butt him, lump him, he fight back and slump him. This shit ain't about nothing. Short, but you ain't seen shit. This is queen shit. No ifs, ands, or buts in between shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that beat more than the first beat, and I'm liking the rapping a little bit more too, especially how Nas came out the gate with that Yayo Fredo rhyme scheme and flow. Nigga spazzed on the beginning of that verse, and he had a lot of slick wordplay there too, but more braggadocio, picking right where he left off on the first track. If he got in and got out, that nigga had like 8 bars. He hit the old nigga coming on the basketball court, he get one shot in, he making it in, he do the little old nigga jog off before he hurt something. Dope verse though, despite it being short. On top of the flow, the grimy imagery was tough. I like the sample too. The vocal sounded good and the smooth strings under it. Drum choice was a little interesting. I like the fact that he went with the live drums. The little snare triplet give it a weird feel. I probably would have liked it better with just a little regular beat break, but I think it was a good beat overall. This is Black Magic.
She having nightmares sleeping next to me, waking up unexpectedly, maybe somebody hexing me.
He's using a reverse snare right here, which give it this little warp sound. I always thought that was an interesting sound to play with.
Questioning, blessings on me, protect me from weaponry. Hoping she gon' have the same success and she don't let them in. Doctor on the shoulder, don't believe it. Superstitious thesis, cause I'm amongst the demons. Cross on me, first time I got tatted. These cards I was handed, I'm accessing the damage like the whole Jackson 5 bands and how I...
That's a tough verse. I think that's when Nas at his best with that storytelling. When he first started that verse, I thought he was talking about sleeping with his gun next to him, but I think he's actually talking about a woman there. But to tell that story of him maneuvering through life or death situations, from being in the streets, from her perspective, I think that's witty.
Nasty bitch, bad as fuck, don't ever try to play with me. And I got that trade in me to give your ass the vacancy. Never got a wedding ring, the life that she engaged to. Change cars, night life, that's what she a slave to. Black magic.
Contrast between the first woman and the second woman.
D goes unpunished. It's the bummiest, dumbest life. Got bad luck in abundance. Look how happy these lanes be when aspiration it shows. Devil is inside of you. Black smoke, black magic on your back is riding you.
Man, the storytelling was sick, but Hit-Boy need to figure out what he trying to accomplish with these beats. I think Nas is carrying right here because that was a really captivating story. He basically had these two concepts that he interwove. So he had this black magic concept of black music being the magic that keep people safe from like the evil magic, evil spirits. But then he also had this concept of talking about the street life through the lens of these two different women. One, a loyal woman who was actually worried about her dude. And then the second, in a much shorter verse, talking about a woman who was in it because of the perks of it. Basically a gold digger. Then after he tells the story, he comes to in that third verse is more of the narrator to tie everything together. I thought it was a dope concept, but man, this beat, I think Hit-Boy might have been trying to be too out of the box. He took a lot of chances from the reverse sound source. I don't think that piano sample was that captivating. I don't love the drum pattern. I like the fact that it was outside the box a little bit, but the elements just didn't mesh the best. I do think it's a good song though with how strong Nas's verses were. This is Motion. Best drums on the album. Simple boom bap pattern, but he got this processing on the beat too. Give the bass a thumpier sound and give the sample a more vintage sound.
Might spend a week at the Magic Castle. Presidential suite made of brass and alabaster. You can cast the spell. Just back.
Man, playing with that alliteration on top of the rhyme scheme.
My geysers and I just watch it from high rises. Weird luck, cause when we fail, we only fail up. I tear up every time I see a mail truck.
Like that.
Know that check coming 500 a piece smoothly. And yo, that shit behooves me.
Tearing up every time he see the mail truck because he getting a check. That's a fire line.
Best friends chill by the pool, lay belly dancing, lamping, throwback sweatsuits from Grambling. Maybach trucks breaking bad like Bryan Cranston. Black and white night dunks, them clean pandas.
No, put them pandas to rest, dog. Everybody got a pair of pandas. My grandma got a pair of pandas, dog. Man, at this point, we need a slur for the panda dunks.
Dump the ashes in the ocean, get the shark high. Black yacht, we made it from the hard times.
That's fire.
Flesh a vessel, I'm not obsessed with death. I manifest what's best. I'm ghetto tested, blessed. I'm
This
having motion like
sound,
an 18 wheeler
sound.
out on a turnpike. My worst night, emotion picture, Fox
I like
searchlight,
that
3
18-wheeler
wheel
line.
motion. West Coast shit, nigga overdoses, imperial pistols, ferocious, explosive. East Coast shit, motion like Flavor that I ain't no joke fit. And I ain't gotta say a word cause they know I
dog. That nigga can't hear the punch, dog. Yo, I'm finna bring that Flavor Flav dance back. Y'all see me in the spot doing it. Don't say nothing.
rich out in Turks and Caicos. Maybe they too angry, that's why they don't got motion. We having motion. We having
Niggas fast.
And y'all ain't having no motion.
That's why this nigga to go. Nigga left Earth on this song. Not that Nas ain't been spazzing his whole album, but dog, when him and Hit-Boy both on their A game, it is different, dog. The best song on the album, easily in my opinion. Easily. And beat was sick. Simplest beat on the album, but everything worked. Drums sounded good, even though they were simple. Chill, laid back sample led by those strings. Perfect backdrop for Nas to just lose his mind, which is what he did on this song. The technical rap and the rhyme schemes, excellent. Then the punching and the wordplay was OD. I love all those motion punches to get the Sharks high line, motion like Flavor Flav and I Ain't No Joke video. You know, one day we gonna free people from the shackles of those panda dunks, but that's a conversation for later. This is Bokeem Woodbine.
your couch, leave me needing mouth to mouth.
Hey, dance hall mixed with rap ain't missed since Who Let the Dogs Out.
That just aroused my style. Then I party like I'm Tony in the South Beach house. Bars.
See, look, this is what I'm talking about, man. Hit-Boy is back now. He just need a little negative reinforcement. But this is a dope beat, too.
I know that make you uncomfortable and make you say ouch.
That water guitar
like the Columbos and Bananos. Rum in the cup holder, hitting bumps and spill on the sandals and car panels. I drew attention with our
the internals is what made that last rhyme scheme go crazy.
Make an incision like Alonzo did to Joshua and Jason's lyric. I think
Context clues kind of tell me that line probably was fire. But one thing about this channel, we gonna miss a movie reference. If y'all knew how many Black Hood movies I have not seen, y'all would unsubscribe.
ESCO, I'm in the pole position. Yo, she chose this pimp and put the pain inside the music, cause I know they listen. Tap out, snapping like Krishan and Blueface. Trading bars with the guards till they get the screw face.
Snapping like Krishan and Blueface. Yo, them niggas need to break up, dog. But yeah, I love that Kool G Rap shout out. Kool G Rap might be the most underrated rapper of all time. He top 50, but don't get top 50 love.
I'm bent off good wine like Bokeem Woodbine. Home reading the script, lighting up from a good line. Not no cocaine, this that crack though. She asked for...
Man, he's had good wordplay on this whole album, but I like that script, good line wordplay. Like a line of drugs and then a line from a movie script.
Ouch. My viewers, they only do it for views. Knife in my back and I wear the wounds. Ouch.
Hey, niggas out here heating up like NBA Jam. That was another fire song. I love this beat bouncing back and forth between the strings, the guitar, and then that vocal sample that was in and out really quick. It's crazy how much of a difference drums can make for a beat. Hit-Boy was trying a lot with the drum patterns on the first couple of beats. He's got back to more simple and straightforward drums, but drums that sound really good, and I think that's made a lot of difference on these last two beats versus the first three. Nas is good enough to carry pretty much any beat, but dog, it sounds so great when he's snapping over a fire one. Some of his best rhyme schemes on the album, slick wordplay, and I like how he's reminiscing while giving you this scenery of him being in this lavish house like the Scarface mansion and alluding to sniffing coke. He's been really crafty about he'll take what he wants to communicate, but the lens in which he'll communicate it has just been really creative using these like side characters, whether it be the girls on Black Magic, here making the allusions to Tony Montana. That's a sick song. This is Earvin Magic Johnson.
On my Earvin Magic Johnson, I'm in the prize and I keep...
This is spelled Earvin, right? This is not how you spell Earvin, right? Or am I tripping?
Ghetto like the hood before they gentrified it. I might burn this bitch down, left eye Andre rising. I can't trust you built for Cuban links unless we tied in.
I was not expecting trap drums. I was definitely expecting boom bap drums with this. I think it works though.
I stood on stages, Australia on occasion, country club, house of blues, stadium status, hands.
He's giving us a lot of flows, and I think when he's dabbled in the trap flows on this song and Abracadabra, they come off really good.
We just keep on getting iller, word to heavy, word to dealer.
R.I.P.
Word to have, word to dealer, Milk D. I'm top billing, cooked in soul, grandma skillet, and they...
I like these 80s, 90s hip-hop references he's had, paying homage to people who was even before him with his top billing reference, the Kool G reference in the last song.
Trying to make me out the villain, have you jammed up like what you spread on toast. Here's a dose of that interesting
No, you above that punch, dog. You way above that punch. I love this modulation right here.
Overweight, pockets for my niggas,
chopped up sample.
Get it? On my Earvin Magic Johnson, I'm in the prize and I keep it ghetto like the hood before they...
So we had that modulation to a different sample. Now he brought the first sample back, but he have these organs behind it which give it a different feel. I wonder if that's part of the same sampler he put the organs behind it itself. The Wu-Tang reference, or Raekwon reference.
Alphabets, I gave out Paddocks, and I gave out Rollies and New Rangers to the baddest. Plus I wear the scars from the streets, stuck in the mark of the beast.
It's the first song on the album where I think Hit-Boy carried Nas. I like some of the stuff that Nas did on this song. I like mixing this modern trap flow with all these old school hip-hop references. But let's be real, this is the lightest rapping on the album by a long shot. Not bad flows, with the rhyme schemes was definitely more simplistic, and even the flows are a little bit more simple than we've got on every other song. Sick beat though. I love that horn sample. I love the modulation in the middle. That trap drum contrasting it gives this old school versus new school feel, and then it's like this illustration of Nas and Hit-Boy's different styles fusing with each other. This is what this all really means.
Yeah. The feeling of the first time seeing your name.
Hit-Boy just trying everything. This nigga Jordan Poole just pulling up from 40. He just gonna shoot it. I don't know how this sample, but we gonna see.
Yeah. it just was yesterday. Picture that on the day you retire. And they still shocked and amazed I made it up higher. Cause I came up with them hot heads that played with the fire.
That played in the fire rhyme scheme is a 5-syllable. That's tough.
Lady, I'm a carnivore, constantly come with concepts to pay me. I'm responsible.
Much needed modulation.
My DNA and they G'd up ways, and they surveying. I showed them my scrotum is golden. Rap game stomach was swollen. I left these bastards on your doorsteps. Behold them beats, black and proud shirts, white Jesus pieces on Cuban links, silver wall chick. Yo, she black and white on Egyptian shovel album. When rap double albums was starting, they bootlegged I Am my album. I put my heart in. Nipsey met me to do a doc.
Nas sometimes though, that nigga done got bootlegged by every single method. They got bootleg Nas CDs, they got Nas on LimeWire, they got Nas on illegal torrents. You know, piracy is timeless.
I be on the block easy with a glass full of wine. Red chrome heart lenses to see I'm in my third prime. The Q,
hey, that's a bang.
Double y'all gon' need some EMS when we drop this, and that's a bet. The feeling of me, I think they really scared of me. Do what I do and let it be. And that's the way I always been since I was 17. I finally see what this all really means.
Yo, Nas is on one, man. So far, I think this is on par with KD3 as the best rapping on this 5-album run that he's had with Hit-Boy. His verse on Abracadabra and Earvin Magic Johnson, you can take it or leave it, but everything else has been stellar as far as the wordplay, rhyme schemes, and weaving these concepts together. Love that contrast of him coming up and trying to make it as a rapper with him post-career and having all the luxury. The fact that he can tell that story through painting one image after the other, weaving back and forth between present day and 30 years ago. You know, Hit-Boy out here calling his own plays, throwing stuff together. He's talented enough where this ain't a bad beat, but he's trying some out-of-the-box stuff, and it's just not going together that great. Didn't really like the drums. I didn't think this sample was that interesting, neither one of the samples. The second sample did sound a little bit better than the first one, but I wasn't really feeling that beat. It's to slow it down. I know this sound.
Nas like the NASCAR lines could only be seen from up high. Only the true
Man, where do I know this sample from? I might be thinking Double Standards by Absol. I don't think it's the same one, but it sounds similar.
I saw this shit when I was 14. I counted on it. I was born to do it with a powerful, poignant style they wanted. Never
This style they wanted rhyme scheme is sick.
People saw them try to make hit songs that went wrong. This about the money, right? Cause all that shit that been gone. Had to get the youth to relate for the bag. And since they smarter than us, they know Nas was once they age. Made they pay grade, the youngster phase. Same mistakes, the times have changed. Trying not to touch the cage, but touch interior. In the front is the trunk, that's the custom carrier. I snap my fingers, I'm up and smoke like the chronic. Disappear, reappear, right in front of your optics.
Man, this more that conceptual brilliance. Starts talking about that pursuit of money, and then in those last couple of bars, he changed his perspective to rapping from the perspective of money.
Set up the trust and point the trustee. Corporations is the modern day custies. My flow is the hard substance master to Bernie Grubbin. The stovetop and oven, my company going public. I see the puppets, they moving like they the judges, but Nas and all the subjects is hard for you to catch up with.
Yeah, man, Nas just been on one. Another really well put together concept. Love the contrast between talking about the street money on that first verse and then the legal money on the second verse. The imagery he's able to tap into while keeping this elite level of imagery. Different, dog. Sick beat by Hit-Boy. I love when artists experiment, but in this case, every time where he's kept the drums simple, the beats have been great. Smooth sample, crisp drums, one of the better tracks on the album. This is Pistol on Your album cover. I like that song title.
Eyes blurry saying goodbye at the cemetery. I murder niggas on wax and forget where they buried. This the hardest shit since Rakim and Eric B. Or pistols on your album cover just like BDP. Single mothers on that EBT just trying to feed they seat.
Man, any old school hip hop rappers gonna hit with me. The Boogie Down Productions By All Means album cover with the Malcolm X reference.
Models, some Dominicanos in Cabo, some with the bloodline, the Lagos, Legos. So many stones in my hand just like Thanos. Eat Italiano, grazie, prego.
I know the light is bright, but keep on watching me. I'm stolen property, kicking the flavor to society.
He had the Boogie Down reference earlier, and then he got a sample.
Man, it's the hardest shit since DPG corrupting dads. Nate Dogg on the hook, Dr. Dre on the track. Pressure. Instead, I'm on a red page. My pupils are dilated. I throw in some dark shades.
Another really solid song. I like this beat with those smooth keys, and then I like that break beat drum pattern. The rapping from Nas is still super technically sound. I particularly like that first verse when he got into like the guns and people not making it. I thought he was going to expound on one of the lines that he said where he was talking about the CCTV and getting shot by it, so like getting recorded on video. I thought he was going to use that as like a metaphor for like shooting a gun, but he kind of abandoned it. The second verse was still technically sound. I just prefer the first one over the second one. Pretty good song. Let's close this thing out. One mic, one gun.
Ain't no back and forth, ain't no left or right. 21. I got King's disease, but I move like a knight. 21. When you turn a legend, no such thing as relevant. They must have forgot that I'm a new rapper that got integrity.
No back and forth, I did it back then, I do it right now. I opened a lane for my era, I'm goated, they gave me the crown. I shook up the town, I shook up the city, I shook up the state. I went 21 on my second run, that shit come with age. They know that I see everything invested in ring. It's cool to be mainstream, I'd rather be timeless, that's if we keep it in peak.
Never controversial, I'm mad the fans expected less from me. Nigga sneeze around me, wipe his nose, don't get no bless from me.
I mean, I see what they were trying to do. That song was like the lyrical version of when the Bloods and the Crips tie their flags together. It's like the old school, New York, South truce. The song was alright. And like for the record, alright is a step under alright. I do like the beat from Hit-Boy. It's hard to go wrong with horns, and the horn sample sounded dope, like the 808s. The sample doesn't really sound like it would go with 808s, but it worked here. I don't really care for the verses. 21, despite being a trap rapper, when he's on the song with somebody who's really gifted lyrically, he can really turn the lyricism up and get into some, not the craziest rhyme since you ever heard, but some pretty technical rapping. With this verse here, he was trying to talk on more mature content, going legal, stocks, bonds, all that stuff, and I think the actual rapping took a backseat. He had his signature flow, which is fine. Nas went to the well one too many times with the stop, start, trap flow. This one sounded the most basic. I won't say it sounded bad, but it was simple compared to the level of rapping we got from the other songs. The content was cool, but we got similar messaging, not only on this song, but songs on the rest of the album, and honestly the rest of the series too. Also, if you're gonna throw one mic in the song, which is arguably Nas' best song ever, I would expect it to go harder than this, but I see what they were going for. Overall, this is a pretty fire album. Going from King's Disease 1 all the way up to King's Disease 3, including the first Magic, each project got better and better, and Nas' rapping got better and better with each project. That trend continues here because Nas' rapping was just on another planet. The One Mic, One Gun was the lightest verse, and the Earvin Magic Johnson verse was fine, but everything else was stellar. The wordplay was fire. He had a lot of humorous punches. His storytelling was on point in the songs where he did the storytelling. Fire technical rapping with the rhyme structures and the flows. And then his content just continues to evolve and age and get more mature as Nas continues to age. Now, I don't think the album overall follows that trend of each one getting better. I would put this album in between probably KD2 and the first Magic. So worst to best, KD, KD2, Magic 2, Magic 1, KD3. And I think that falls on Hit-Boy's execution. Hit-Boy was a little hit or miss on this production. I think he definitely had standout tracks like Motion, which was the best track on here, Slow It Down, but other tracks like Abracadabra, Black Magic, he was just trying to do a little too much and everything wasn't going well. When he used the more simple percussion and drum patterns, the beats generally turned out well. He also tried a lot of modulations, which he's done on pretty much all the King's Diseases. Generally, they go over really well because he has such high degree of musicality. But here on some songs, they sounded good. Some songs, they were just alright. But I do think there was enough fire beats here and such a strong performance from Nas that the overall quality of the album is somewhere between really good and excellent. So while it wasn't an album that was as good or as grand as, say, a King's Disease 3, this is another sick addition to a really historic run.